Hey, preying on predators, I got something for you. Hunting down south in the land of the pines, making them sets round North Carolina, staring up the fields, praying I see coyotes. Hunting down the coast for 17 hours, wearing ourselves out with tournament hours. I'm hoping for a triple to kill a pile tonight. So call me a cow with a little beat. Call me a cow in the OPC. Hey, Foxborough, call me.
Hey guys, you got Chance with Preying on Predators here with Timmy Ray, Drop Zone Hunting, Preying on Predators. I just want to come to you today, do a little Q&A. We've had a lot of positive engagement with some of our listeners and asked them some questions. We want to go ahead and address some of those. But first, we got a new theme song that was written by our very own Timmy Ray. It's Call Me a Coyote, Foxborough, Call Me a Coyote. And it was performed by a buddy of his, Matt Bowling, who hunted with Coop in Hunting Carolinas and OPC 23 this year. Guys, let us know what you think about it. We will have Matt on for an interview as well as to do a full performance of the whole song. So let us know what you think about it.
Guys, that's just a parody of something I came up with just playing around, and Matt is a singer-songwriter himself, so kind of threw it to him, and like I said, you got a little clip of it here in the opening, and hope let us know you want to hear more about that song, and he'll play the whole version for us.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be at the OPC 24.
I think he will be, and we'll see if we can get him to perform it there.
Yeah, it depends on how well he does.
That's right.
All right, guys, again, this is just a little quick Q&A session. We pulled off of our social media that people were messaging us. I had one guy on Spotify, he asked about squirrel hunting. Any tips or tricks for that? I don't do much squirrel hunting. They're mainly a target of opportunity or frustration for me. So if I'm in a deer stand and they aggravate me, I may let one ride. But talked to a buddy who does some squirrel hunting. He said the best thing he did was he got a dog that could run and track them and tree them, and then also retrieve them. Personally, when I've hunted with them before, I've used anything from a 17 HMR to a 308.
It's a little excessive.
Hey, when you're having a rough deer season,
that's right,
and those deer fall, or the squirrels fall out of the tree and scare off your deer.
That's right.
Sometimes you just gotta let it ride. They fucked around and found out.
That's right.
About that 308. A lot of good rounds out there for it. The 22's classic, 17 HMR, but you also got to look at where you're shooting. Part of the safety rules: know your target, know its foreground, background. So if
22 can travel, even flat. So
you may want to look at a shotgun. 410. I mean, these are squirrels, so 410 and 20 gauge.
I mean, I grew up squirrel hunting. As long as I can remember, always had a 410. And then done some and I don't squirrel hunt a lot at all, but 12 gauge always worked well.
Yeah, especially to get way up in the we got pine trees everywhere. Even young pines, 70 foot, 100 foot.
Oh yeah.
And so you got to reach up there and tag them. And that 12 gauge has a little bit more ass behind it to knock down some of those tree limbs and branches and be able to get to that squirrel.
But growing up squirrel hunting, I mean, I'm talking 4, 5, 6 years old when I got started, and that's great for our young kids. Especially like a 410, not a heavy kick gun.
No.
They learn safety, they learn to shoot, they learn to hunt. So I recommend that a lot.
Yeah.
Get these kids in the woods.
Yep, definitely. The Fallen Outdoors is a veteran group that helps veterans and first responders. Healing through the outdoors is their kind of the motto. Every year, they here in the Eastern chapter for North Carolina, they will put on a squirrel hunt for youth and military guys. And it was a pretty fun tournament. It was virtual. You had your little anti-cheating methods for it. It was a good time. Get out there and
guys, check them out. Definitely, man. I mean, support those guys that are supporting our military. Through that endeavor.
Yeah. Sometimes you may be in a weird position or something, or if you're walking, spotting, stalking squirrels. What my Chad told me to do is lay down get really still. And if you cross your leg, like lay down, prop up one leg, cross your other leg, then you can use that leg as a rest for your shotgun. You get real still, the squirrels will come down. You'll probably get them that way. Or just get in your tree stand, act like you're deer hunting. The squirrels will see you, think you're deer hunting. They'll come out. Yeah, they'll come out, and you can just have a field day. You know, we all like those target-rich environments. Another question we got was our caliber selection for what we're using. So both Timmy and I have done videos over our coyote rigs and our current gear that we're running. But Timmy, what? Just real quick, go over what you're running with your coyote caliber.
My primary weapon now is the 6.5 Creedmoor, pushing 95 grain VMAX. Just switched that probably last 6 months to a year, if that. I was running that actually as a backup gun because I just ran a 223. That's what I started with. 55 grains. We're dropping them once I figured out to use VMAX and not FMJs when I started. And I was, really liked it, but then hunting with you, we started, I've covered this before. I hunted right here on this little property. Didn't have big, I got big field, but I was only taking 100-yard shots. If they wasn't getting in that 100, 150, I wasn't taking a shot a lot of times. But once I shot and missed, now they're 200, 250, and that 223 wasn't there for me for that. Yeah. And, a lot of that was me. And I'm not getting on I love the 223. I've used it as a guest gun. I set it in my gear review, set that Rock River up, had a young lady on it the first night, 170 yards, she dumped it. Yep. And it's effective. They shot from 40 yards. We dumped one 5 feet from the call that night to that 170, and we killed 4 out of 6 sets. 6.5 Creedmoor, we talked about that. A couple guys were running it. We want to reach out to that 250, 300. So started working on that, and that's where I'm at. And I'm very pleased with it. Guys hate on it. Yeah. Let's be honest. I've read watched videos and read it's a paper gun. You guys, it may be, but that's at 1,000 yards. I don't think anybody out here is running anything that's going to push 1,000 yards on a coyote. Not with a thermal. Yeah. So 200, 300, maybe even 350 with that Creedmoor, it's deadly. Yeah. And that's all I'm using it for. You can say, people can hate on it, and there's this, the 6.8, the 6, what do they got now? They got all kinds of.
Yeah, they got 6.5 Creedmoor, 22 Creedmoor.
Yeah. There's a ton of rifle selections out. I was watching a video on YouTube the other night with all the different calibers, things that were coming along. There's like a 6.8 Creed or something. Is that?
There's 6.8 Blackout or 8.6 Blackout something.
He laid it all out, different sizes. It showed all the rounds. It's what you want, hunt what you got. Yep. If you want to go with something bigger, go with something bigger. If you want to shoot a 308 or 270, it's what you got, what you can get rounds for. And you're in the position with the ARC now. You're finding bullets it's thin. Yeah. So that's why you've had to go to some hand loads, which you want to do anyhow. You want to perfect that same shot. So tell us why you went with the 6R.
So I first started off with 223 running 55 grain VMAX. It's just what I kind of grew up on. For me, the 223 was a 250 yard and end coyote gun. You start reaching out past 250, 300, you're losing some of that velocity. That for me. Speed is king. So once you hit that 300 yard mark, you're losing.
It is a lot of drop with that 223. So.
Yeah. So I wanted something where we can reach out. Again, we were having some coyotes hanging up about 200 yards, 300 yards,
400 yards.
Yeah. So I wanted something that was going to go across a lot of different spectrums, from up close, to those longer shots, as well as a wide variety of bullet selection, so I can use it for deer hunting, hog hunting, and then target shooting if I want to do PRS or coyote hunting, because that's mainly what I do. I got into it. I watched all the YouTube videos Hornady put out about it, and I just was really intrigued by the bullet and the capability of it. And I'm not the person who just makes spontaneous purchases right off the bat just to jump on the bandwagon.
I think I'm going to object to that. I know you long enough.
Well,
I'm not saying jumping on the bandwagon, but we make some crazy purchases.
Yeah, but we do our research beforehand.
We do.
So I ended up going with the 6 ARC. And right now, it came out during the height of COVID. You can only find factory ammo anywhere from the 103 grain Boat Tail Hollow Point or ELDX to the 106 ELDXs. There's a couple other ones that they had. out, and that was it. And then you couldn't find brass for it, so it was kind of hard. All of the other guys were hand loading on the Facebook groups to run those lighter grain projectiles, and so I hooked up with Nate Bailey from the Loaded Gunny. He was showing me some stuff, and we got in. And again, speed kills for me. I'm a speed demon, so I was looking at that 3,100 feet per second or faster velocity, because I wanted to maximize my maximum point blank range. So by doing that, by dropping bullet weight, loading to a higher end of the capacity to get that speed for me to maximize. And that's, the 6-ARC did it. It seems to be working great for me. I've had only a couple of runners with it, but that was probably me shooting.
I think it's shot placement too.
Yeah.
I mean, because me and you, we've hit them, dead on. I mean, knocked them off their feet, flipped them over, one laid down. We took a shot. Of course, we don't know who hit. We were simultaneous shooters a lot of times.
Yeah.
So we, and that one did a backflip, laying down.
Yeah.
I mean, them rounds picked him up off the ground and flipped him over.
Oh yeah.
And I think we ran the actually we were shooting 223s up in Four Oaks. I think I was.
Yeah. So 223.
We knew that was a double hit because they hit an inch apart in the chest. So but with the 6-ARC, the 6.5 Creedmoor, guys, you're not saving fur.
No.
Well, at least running the VMAX. With the 223, you didn't get a lot of through and throughs.
No.
I mean, it went in, it penetrated, and I'll tell you more about them VMAX in a minute. But these ones are tearing them apart. They're going to slam through. And if you watch Hornady's podcast on the VMAX, how they, I guess, developed it, where it's built for rapid expansion. Mm-hmm. And the story of that is I was out here on the range. Chance was on his way over. We were going to go out hunting. Got my stuff set up. Got my heat pack out there in a box. And I'm sighting in. I look at 200 because I'm going to shoot my 200 before you got here. And a rabbit came out of the logs of the backstop, and I thought it was a rat. Because I guess, I was like, oh, there's a rat. And I was like, well, I'm going to confirm my gun.
Yeah.
Got a good heat source.
Yeah. Live tissue.
Yeah. And it hit this rabbit, and that is soft tissue. A rabbit is soft tissue. Yeah. And that 95 grain hit that rabbit. I hit him right in the shoulder, and it vaporized that everything from the neck down.
Yeah, it's gone.
Like the neck and up landed on the range, and it looked like paint got thrown against the logs. And I was like, cool, I'm on at 100.
Yeah.
And of course I felt bad. I walked down there, it was a rabbit. But hitting that soft tissue and expanding that fast and just vaporizing, you're hitting a coyote. And their design, I think, was a quarter inch.
Quarter to half inch.
It's expanding.
And dumping the energy. But also with us double tapping these coyotes a lot of times, we get there and then you have that hydrostatic shock, you have that temporary wound cavity opening up, and then you have another,
hit right behind it.
Yeah, Timmy's running 3,300 feet per second. I'm running 3,300 feet per second, and we're hitting.
It's a race to who gets to.
Yeah. And so when we hit it, that wound cavity's already up, so the other one's punching through, and we've made some bad shots, that it'll knock them down. Just because it's just so much energy transferring into those animals.
And you're not, like I said, you're not saving fur. You're not winning a big dog contest because it's blowing them out, which is good. And I'll go back to the Hornady, after listening to that one, that's, again, stayed with the VMAXs. I was running 120 soft points, I think it was. I think it was the 120s. And they explained that round is designed to enter the cavity, go 5 to 7 inches before it actually starts expanding. And they said, for coyotes, you're already out the other side, so all your energy and what the expansion of the bullet is out the other side. So you're not getting that devastation that we're getting with the VMAX.
So you're losing a lot of energy when you have pinholes, and I'm not a fan of using a lot of boat tail hollow points or soft points.
Right.
For coyote hunting or varmint hunting. They're just too small of an animal, too soft, because that bullet's going to zip right through them. And
I learned that in the beginning. Looking back, FMJs is not the way to go.
No, it's not.
I've said that before.
FMJs are good for paper and steel. But I mean, if it's what you got, it's what you got.
That's right. And guys, we're not sponsored by nobody. I'm not on VMAX or Hornady because any sponsorship. I'm on it because it worked. It's worked for me for past 6-7 years, and unless something else comes along, and there's probably guys who probably using something else. I'm not saying you have to go to VMAX. If what you're using is working for you, go along with it.
Yeah.
These videos are for guys that are kind of getting in the game, looking for different gear, weapons, ammo that people are using and are successful with. And I feel, I feel confident in the VMAX.
Yeah, VMAX. I've run other the 70 grain nozzlers. They are, and especially in the 6 mils, the 243. They are just hammers on coyotes. Ran them in my 243 for a while. Just fucking awesome round. Nate Stillman, he busted a coyote, his first coyote in North Carolina, 250 yards, running a 70 grain nozzler. Just dumped him in his tracks. I've used Blitz King.
Yep.
Now, I'm a big Sierra fan as well, but I had some 55 grain Sierra Blitz King that came. I bought, it was COVID 2021. I bought a box of 200 from the factory. It came in, went to sight it in, and it looked like a shotgun down range. It did not like that ammo, and so I rechecked my scope, rechecked my the Zero. Everything I could, grabbed the 55 grain VMAXs, loaded them up, made sure, went and confirmed Zero, and hey, I'm, sub MOA.
Right.
It's like, okay, cool. Load up some more Blitz King. Again, like 2-3 shots would be right where I'm aiming, then I'd have 2 or 3 flyers. Emailed Blitz King or Sierra. They told me those Blitz King ammos was developed for a 1 in 12 rifle. This day and age, you don't see a 1 in 12 twist rifle and a 223 unless it's an older bolt action gun. And their advertising was for coyotes and this. I pulled out another box, went and confirmed, shot it. All of them sub MOA. And I just think it was a bad group of a bad batch of ammo for whatever. Hey, they're a big company, that it's going to happen. But it kind of turned me off. Like, I've got some tip Game Kings that I'll use for deer. They're 90 grain 243. I've got some, they're 30 cal 300 blackout. I can't remember what they are. And I also got some tip Game King 64 grain 223 that I'm looking at trying out.
I don't know enough about ammo. You do a lot more studying on it than I do, and we work with Nate on a couple loads for you and myself as well, the 95s. That's the guy we're going to talk to. More about all ballistic stuff. I don't know it. If I'm hitting, I'm good with it.
It's just, you got to find the right ammo for your gun and what you perform with. Just right tool for the right job at that.
And right now, my 95s is working for me, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
All right. Another question we had was hunting over bait piles. How have we done it? How do we do it? Etc. Done it a few times. I'm not opposed to it. I just kind of get bored on it. But how I do it is I'll put a trail camera over it so I know when they're coming in, and try to pattern them that way. And I don't like to call over it. I don't want to educate them to the call, or if they are educated coyotes, I want them associating that bait site to that call. So
you want that to be a safety area.
Yep. And also, if it's a safety area for them where they feel comfortable, you can't miss.
Right.
You got to be dead on, and
no witnesses.
Yeah, no witnesses. So, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll set up on one of their avenues of approach, one of their routes that they're using to access that. I'll set up there and try to catch them coming that way, just so again I'm not associating danger to the food source there. Timmy does, he calls. I just haven't done it.
Guys hunt, they have limited land. You almost got to hunt over bait piles, and that's how I started. I've told this several times. Right here, I had deer, whatever I could find. Table scraps I was throwing out there. I was putting trail cameras out, and we talk about people say you can pattern, you can't pattern coyotes. I felt very confident, and I had a calendar on my desk, and every time I'd pull my cards, I'd mark what time, how many coyotes, and I think density, food source, pressure, human pressure. People, that coyote might be coming in 3 nights in a row, and he might be gone 3 nights. It depends on where he's at. I mean, he might be somebody else's trail camera piece of land for 3 days. Because I've been in this field so long. I've watched coyotes come into my field, howl. Multiple times. You've been out there where we had them 3 or 4 come in. We got them howling, booger barking at us, and they just go about their way. They'll split up. 2 go this way, 2 go that way. 2 way different. Not even to where my bait pile is or was. Guys, if you got 1 or 2 pieces, you got to hunt over those.
Yeah.
As for calling on bait piles, killed my second coyote. I've told this before. They were 600 yards in my field. I could see them. They were just mousing around. They wasn't coming in. Before they'd come right down that road, right to the bait pile.
Yep.
But it took several shots before this situation, and I probably educated them a little bit.
Yeah.
But 2 dogs came out. They're mousing around. I was like, let's try this Fox Pro.
Yeah.
Hit 15 seconds of cottontail. Boom. That was their trigger. We hear Tori Cook talk about triggers, and I'm telling you, didn't notice it then, didn't know that was their thing, or that was what was going on in their head. But after listening to Tori, I've seen it so many times. You're like, that was the trigger. That might, we've had that one with the other coyote not long ago, but that triggered them. They ran 600 yards in my lap.
Yep.
Now I could have hit a howl. They may have triggered on that. They may have just ran the other way. But yeah, bait piles, I'm a fan of, And guys, just in tournaments, I see some tournaments no hunting over bait piles.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing, guys. I allow it in my tournament because if you want to go out there and you want to sit for 5 hours on a bait pile and maybe kill a coyote, that's on you.
Yeah.
That if that's your style or that's all the land you got. I'm not going to discriminate because somebody don't have 10 properties.
Yeah.
You could go out on a bait pile and kill 4.
Yeah.
Just depends on your density and if you don't miss.
Yeah, don't miss. That's the key thing.
Yeah, that's the key to all coyote hunting. Let's be honest.
I'm not opposed to hunting over bait piles. I mean, I hunt deer over a corn pile every now and then too, so I'm not opposed to it.
Guys, I talk about bait piles on my first coyote. I went 5 days straight, and I'd hunt it. I hunt a couple days, didn't see nothing. Those coyotes didn't come in for 4 nights, or at least the time. I come home from work, grab my gear, go sit in a deer stand 70 yards from here, and just sit there and scan. 4 nights, nothing. Not a howl, nothing. The 5th night, double come walking down the road right to me.
Yeah.
So, it goes back to where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, them coyotes could have been somewhere else for 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, I've told the story before on Overdrive's podcast. Dennis Gilmore actually helped me write an article and published it on his website about how I use trail cameras to pattern a breeding pair that actually ended up being my first black coyote. So it was January 2020. I started having, actually it was 21, I'm sorry, 21. Started having 2 coyotes show up on my property. They would show up for 2 to 3 days, at about 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd see them at night, roughly about 11:30, midnight.
And they pass that same. I mean, and I have the same thing. They're going one way and coming back the other. So
back and forth. So I really wanted that black coyote being my first one. So February of 21. Set up on my little property. I didn't call. I just waited. I had the Fox Pro set up ready for her. She comes in. She's coming in. She noticed something different because I set up in a ground blind that wasn't there before.
Right.
She turned, went to walk away. Played some mole squeaks or vole squeaks, and she stopped, looked over. She was right behind a tree. I needed her to take a step or move somewhere so I could get a clean shot. She took a step, stopped to smell something. I had a small window, thread and needle, dropped her. Waited a little bit because the male, the black coyote, was always about a minute or 2 behind her. But they were always together. And I had a few pictures of them together. But he never showed up. Did the drag, the trophy pictures, all that stuff. And then later that day when I pulled the memory card, ended up seeing on the trail camera the black coyote coming about an hour later, and he had stopped and smelled right where she was at, smell around. Then the third picture was him looking up, and then the fourth, because I do 3 pictures in a video.
Right.
And so on the video, he walked in a circle, turned around, and went back the way he came. And how I patterned them is when I was seeing them coming, I found their path, that they were coming, path of least resistance, and I set up 3 cell cameras or trail cameras so I could pattern which way they're coming, when they're coming and going, and just stayed out of that area the most I could. But I go in there, I was deer hunting, I was feeding, I walk around my property, so I'm sure they smelled me and were used to that smell. It wasn't a strange smell.
That's right.
Fast forward 3 months later, I gained access to hunt this abandoned hog farm on the property adjacent to mine. Set up a trail camera, saw him coming in, went out there, called, he booger barked me. I ended up challenging him. He comes, like 4 deer charge him, try to run him away. He just keeps going. I put on some pup distress, and he about faced 180 degrees and came in from over 400 yards straight to the call.
That's the trigger.
Yep. He started his circle. Wind was blowing right to left. He started circle downwind. So as soon as he gave me a shot, I was able to dump him, and it ended up being the black coyote. And so that was how I was able to use trail cameras to pattern the coyotes.
Definitely, we said it before. I mean, that trail cameras is a great tool.
Yeah.
Not just for deer hunting, but for
Everything.
coyotes,
Yeah.
for everything. Really.
Yeah, coyotes, turkey, deer.
I run them on the turkey, prior to turkey season myself, just to see where my turkeys are, what shooters I got out there.
Yeah. Also let you know how healthy of a population you have.
That's right. I mean, I got 1 trail camera. I mean, I had 18, I think, on my range this year. But I've got right here where this shop is years ago, where I had, a good mess of them.
Yeah.
But you get to see them, now I'm getting, you're seeing some poults now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we saw some, my wife saw some walking the dogs the other day, 2 of them on the range. So, your predator management's working. That's what I want to see. I want to see the young turkeys coming up, seeing the fawns. But yeah, that's, I agree with you, And just real quick about bait piles, guys, hunting, you're not a fan of really hunting, but up in 4 Oaks, we, our last set of the night, probably 2 in the morning, hunting over a gut pile where a lot of hogs are being dumped at this particular property, and you played some howls, and them dogs came running in to defend that dinner table.
Oh yeah, they were coming in hot.
What were they, 20 yards from us?
Yeah.
So definitely, you can make it happen on the bait pile.
Yeah. You definitely can. I just don't like sitting over a bait pile.
I mean,
that's why deer hunting was never huge for me, because I'd rather get out and move.
But and everybody's got their own style, guys. We're not telling you don't hunt it. Honestly, I'll go sit in my stand sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll text him and be like, I'm just going out back. I'm gonna sit, and I'll literally sit in that same stand. I've killed 12, 14 coyotes out of this field right here over the years, and I'll just go sit there and I'll scan, for whatever reason. If you're busy or just like, I don't want to go riding around tonight, I'm gonna go sit right here and I've killed all of them. So
you catch them slipping.
That's right.
Yeah. Next question we had was, how do we select what coyote hunting tournaments that we enter in? And a lot of that's going to depend on your region. For us, we have several different coyote hunting tournaments that start. I've seen some as early as December, but we normally hunt January, February, March.
Yeah. And there's only North Carolina. We run. There's probably 4
or 5.
But there's
big
only
ones.
one that you really want to hunt.
Yeah.
And that's the Onslow Predator Challenge.
Oh, the Onslow Predator Challenge. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, every state, I think Virginia has actually outlawed them.
Yeah, Virginia has.
I don't
Kansas.
know. I've never heard of any in South Carolina. So
neither
Georgia. I mean, I'm sure they have them. I know Georgia does, because I talked to a gentleman the other night, actually about his tournament. They're getting one going down there in Georgia. How do we select them? I mean, we don't look at the field.
Yeah.
I don't care who's in the field. We're going to compete at the level we're at, whether it's top or bottom. When we went to the C3 this year, like we said in our probably a podcast after this, we talked about prepping, and that starts right now.
Yeah.
We're right now. Yesterday, or was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Me and him were going to an event, and literally we're marking fields.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get access to those fields. for January and February. You know, it was what, an hour from us right
Yep,
now?
hour.
So is that going to be the fields we're going to hunt? No. But for a tournament, yes. If we can get those, we're not going to drive an hour because we got plenty of other spots. But, you know, we're looking for that fresh dirt,
Yeah.
right? And so I think tournament prep is the biggest thing. It's not who's in the field. Whether you know, if you got a team that's killing 20, 25 dogs, don't discourage not to hunt a tournament.
Yeah.
Go in there and compete at your level and learn and
Yeah.
meet people. So
Yeah, you know, so we look at that like when we go in enter a tournament, we're going for a win.
Yeah,
We're not going
yeah.
out there just throwing money away. We want to win.
I want a place.
Yeah. But my main thing is just going out there and having a good time with
Mm-hmm.
it. But we look at the dates of time. Hey, do our schedules match
Right.
up? Is this available? What other tournaments are going on at that time? The rules, you know, there's some.
there's some free for alls out there.
Yeah, there are, and you know, is it going to be a level playing field? You know, are they having anti-cheating methods in there, and are they feasible, and are they actually going to work? You know, you got the guys that are stuffing lead weights and
Yeah.
other fish and bass and
Yeah.
trout fishing tournaments. You got guys who are, you know, trapping coyotes all year long and then killing them in a pen and then taking them out. And
Unfortunately, no matter what sport you're in,
there's going to be cheaters.
somebody's going to want to be top of the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I've raced. You know, I've done motor racing, and guys, you know, they add a little bit of something to it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Yes. Unfortunately, that's going to happen. But you know, like you said, don't look at the field.
Yeah.
Look at having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy the prep, getting prep for this tournament, and then just going hard for 2 hard nights.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a lot of fun. It's adrenaline rush.
it is.
You know, I don't want to do all that hard work because Timmy and I, we do
Yeah.
put in a lot of time in our gear, the prep, the
Land.
everything, the land management,
Yep.
the land access, all that stuff for us to have a legitimate chance. And then for someone to come in who works with the trapper
Yeah.
and traps all these coyotes and feeds them kibble all year long, and then protein shakes or whatever to build them up,
Yeah.
and then to kick our ass, you know, bringing in 50 coyotes in one night. You know, it just that takes the fun out of it for me.
It does,
You know?
and it does for a lot of guys. And I try to talk to a lot of my younger, I can't say younger, guys that just don't have the
Novice,
land,
yeah.
novice hunters that maybe you just want to, don't get discouraged at what's at the top. And, you know, come out, have fun with your guys, and come away and meet some guys. Again, me and you met there.
Yep.
And get better and learn. You know, reach out to us. You know, again, we're an open book when it comes to this. We're not here to bogart no secrets. But look, now my tournaments ran a little different.
Yeah.
I'm looking not just the guys at the top. I'm looking at guys at the bottom for stuff. And
Yeah.
each year I not change it, but I want to add a little bit more because if I got 10 teams killing 1 to 3 coyotes. I want them to compete for something.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there. You've been there.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to jump in this game and kill coyotes in piles.
No.
You know, I just don't. You know, it takes time.
Yeah. It just, you know, we look to go and have fun.
That's right.
And you know, I like hunting Timmy's tournament because how he runs it. It's run fair. Everyone's going to have a chance, and it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned coyote predator who's killing hundreds of coyotes every year, or you're just getting into it and you're killing 5 coyotes a year.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a chance to win something, or at least have a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and
one dog in my tournament really
put you in the money.
Well, you know, I got the one. I run the one shot, one yoke. That's for any team that just kills 1 coyote, right? So those teams are all competing by weight for 1 coyote.
Yep.
So now you're in that one. Now it's a male. You're in the big male. You know, you're in the small coyote too, because that's your biggest and your smallest.
Yeah.
I got the 1775 challenge. You're in that one. So one dog in my tournament really
Puts you in 4 categories.
4 maybe, and then I got the black. If it's a black coyote, now you're in the black coyote. So
Yeah.
you can be up to 5 categories for one dog.
Yeah.
And I've had teams throughout the year bring me one dog and win the big dog.
Yeah.
You know, who brought me one dog was a monster, but that's all they killed, and they win pretty good money in that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not paying the big money. I'm not, you know. I had this conversation with the guy in Georgia. I'm not looking to attract big name teams.
Yeah.
Come, guys, come. I'm not discouraging you, but my tournament is for guys just to come together and have a good time. So if I I don't pay all my money at the top.
Yeah.
I try to spread it out because everybody wants a chance to win something.
Yeah,
And-
like first place isn't going to win 8-10 grand.
Yeah, no.
Or 10 grand thermal.
Yeah.
He's going to pay out the top 10 places.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I paid down to 7th last year, and again, guys, that's based on teams. I set it up prior to the tournament. 10 teams, I'm paying 1 through 3. 15, 1 through 4.
Yep.
And every 5 teams, I drop down, and that just gives what'd you do? 4 predators.
4, yeah.
And I had 4 teams at 4.
Yeah,
And
they
that
all
came to
into
Wade. But I had, instead of you not being at all in the running,
Yeah,
You
I
were
ended up
competing.
Getting, yeah, I was competing.
and guess what? You're going to come back next year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Some teams don't like that format because they're here for the money. I don't enter a tournament to win money.
Yeah.
I honestly, enter the C3 because I want the belt buckle.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to spend the money before we get back to Jacksonville, but I had that belt buckle forever, right? And that's it. I do trophies for everything I can just because guys would rather have that trophy than the money. Because we're going to spend that. We're going to spend that money. Let's be honest. I'll be on Amazon before we got back to Jacksonville buying something.
Or I probably already got it spinning in my head. I know exactly what I want to buy.
Yeah, that's right. And guys, look at your anti-cheating. I know that's a big thing. It's hard to do it all. The only way you can honestly do an anti-cheating where nobody's doing the dumb shit is put a ref with them, which they used to do with the Elite Series out of Virginia, and I really like that, but that was $1,500 a team. But for me, I can't get, last year I had 29 teams. I can't find 29 people to go with each team and travel to Virginia or South Carolina with teams for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
But, I put faith in guys, and again, I say it in my videos on the page, if I catch you cheating, I'm going to put you on blast. I ain't the only one. There's probably a lot of guys on that page that will put your name out there because, again, you want to come out, you want to compete. You would. I know you will.
Yeah.
And if your integrity, if you don't value your integrity, then so be it. We're gonna play by the rules. We do. Because if I win, I want to win honest.
Oh yeah.
And I tell every one of my captains, if you got to cheat to win my tournament, you did not win my tournament.
No.
And that's about it. I try to be as fair as I can.
Yeah.
And expect that from everybody.
Yeah. So moving on, the next question is like hunting educated coyotes. This is a very controversial topic. A lot of different thoughts and not procedures, but thoughts and methods that people go to or try to use. I think number one is use different sounds. The coyotes are masters of association. They'll associate positive and negative. So use different sounds. If I shoot or we shoot over at a location and we miss and we know they're educated coyote, I will make notes in Onyx about what sound was shot and missed over, and that way, and the playlist that I did started off with, because I normally start a night off and I've got my little set playlist that I'm going to run through for every, and then if it's not working, I adjust it. But
what's working?
What is working?
What's working at that time?
Yeah, so go through there, annotate it, do it that way. That way I'm able to track that and we go back to that property. And usually if we miss one, we're out of there at least 4 weeks, sometimes longer, just to give it a break and maybe reset that coyote. Another thing we do is we set up in a different area. If you go there and you set up in the same area every single time, and this isn't even educated coyotes, this is just your normal set. You go there and set up every single time, they're going to get wise to that. I've fallen victim to that.
I have.
We've gone to this place, we call it the double spot, because every time we come in there we call it double. Last time we went, last 2 times, we haven't seen anything, so I was like, okay, we got to change it up, move to a certain location, and sometimes that may be difficult. Terrain will dictate what it is. The terrain and the topography, or where you have land access. You may only have one way in, one way out, and it's just
you don't want to penetrate through that field for scent.
So you gotta manage that. Big thing is back out and give it time. We do that. One thing I like to do is wait until the breeding season or the different life cycle starts kicking in. Breeding, denning, family dispersal, something where that coyote's instincts are going to override its education.
That's right.
You just got to get there and it may suck waiting 4 months, 6
Yeah.
months to get back in there and get some redemption. But if you don't, you're just going to push that coyote out of the area, or just going to make him very, very challenging to call.
Absolutely, and we've educated a few coyotes, and,
Yeah.
and I have back here, and I've hunted this property a whole lot because it's just easy access for me. And I've actually, my wife shot at a dog one night, dumped a bag on it. A couple weeks later, I've told the story. 2 coyotes coming down the field, and there's been argument. There's not educated coyotes. I'm telling you, there's educated coyotes because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I was playing, I think it was baby cottontail. That was my go-to because that's what I killed on. Dog came in, she dumped the mag on it, never hit the damn thing. A couple weeks later, a month later, me and Cole out here sitting in the exact same blind. 2 coyotes coming from behind us up the field. I say, got 2 behind us. They're coming up the edge of the wood line, and I was like, I'm gonna hit the call. I'm gonna make them cut to us because I knew they were gonna go. I mean, it's 300 yards across that field more where we were at, and I knew we were gonna take that shot, but I needed to cut that field to come to us. I hit baby cottontail because that's my go-to, right? Mm-hmm. One coyote literally 90 degrees and dove in the woods. The other one stood there.
Yeah.
It was looking around like, hey, there's a baby cottontail over there. Yeah. And it literally jumped the ditch. The other one finally jumped the ditch. And there's a road on the edge of inside the woods. They come all the way up that road because I saw the deer fight, about 10 deer sitting there. They flushed out into the field. Mm-hmm. Coyotes go about 100 yards past where we at. Now they're about 400 yards from us. Jump back in the field and kept going down the wood line. Mm-hmm. I said, that's the damn coyote my wife shot at. Because as soon as I hit the call, it was gone.
Yep.
So I believe in educated coyotes.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Similar situation, hunting with a guy. He said, "Hey man, we have some educated coyotes. Can you help us out?" Mm-hmm. I had a bunch of different sounds he didn't have, but Pup Distress 3. That's a great coyote, great sound to kill over.
That's right.
I did not know these individuals.
That's what he shot off?
Yeah, shot over Pup Distress 3. Yep. Coyote's about 300 yards. It's coming in just on a string. We weren't even playing. It was in our paws. So I'm just letting it come. Don't know what happened. It checked up. Got kind of squirrely. Yeah. So I played a howl. It challenged, barked back, and was very aggressive. Mm-hmm. Gave it a minute, didn't do anything. Switched to Pup Distress 3. It was also breeding season, so I'm thinking this guy, he gonna come in straight on the line. We'll dump him at 100 yards.
Yep.
Nope. He big kick left and jumped in the woods and never saw him again. Yep. Yeah. He and I asked the guy, Chris, I was like, hey, is that the sound he was like, yep. Like, yeah, that's it.
So
you
gotta know your sounds.
Yeah, you gotta know your sounds. Switch it up, keeping track of it. You don't have to go in depth as much as I do or some of these other guys do.
Yeah.
But hey,
try to know what you're doing or what you're playing when you do miss, so you don't make that mistake. And that's what we're talking about, and that's why we're talking about it here. Yeah. And again, we're just dropping what we've done, the mistakes we've made. Yeah. We talk about our successes, but we also want to talk about our failures.
Yeah.
And a success, I'll tell you my iPhone story.
Yeah.
Again, guys, I'm hunting this field a lot. Not as much as I used to, but you've been out there, we've called in these dogs, they've booger barked us out in the middle, but they just won't come in. I've gone out there multiple times, dogs in the field, play some howls, they challenge bark us, and just, they don't come in. Right before the tournament last year, I said I need a dog so I could do my video for the anti-cheating. And literally, I was sitting on the back porch, dogs lit off, which I hear these dogs all the time. Of course, as soon as I do, I grab my gear and I run out there. So fixing to go live for one of our raffles, and they lit off. And I said, I'm gone. Ran in the house, said, I'm not going live tonight, honey. I'm going to the field. And I ran out here, and I didn't have my Fox Pro. At the time, it was shipped back to Fox Pro for an issue, which they took care of without any problems. But I literally walked 400 or 500 yards to what I call my Coyote Point, which is where it opens up into the bigger field, and triple standing out there milling around. I didn't have no call, so I reach in the pocket, pull out the iPhone, YouTube, whatever it was, Baby Cottontail or Mouse Squeaks or something, and literally, the iPhone ain't that loud on speaker. These dogs could hear it. I just held it up in the air, And they all three kind of looked at each other and literally started walking towards me. I stuck it in my pocket, let it kept playing right through my coveralls, and female come like 130, 140, and dumped her. Yeah. So now, I consider these dogs educated because they've heard every MFK sign I got at some point. Now, did that pitch of that iPhone was that different?
Yeah.
You know, we've had this discussion. We run Fox Pro.
Yeah.
What if we ran a Lucky Duck? Would that pitch be different to intrigue them? I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have Lucky Duck, so
yeah, we don't have a Lucky Duck.
So
we're loyal to Fox Pro and MFK. Yeah.
But guys have said it. Switch sounds, switch units, or e-collars. I haven't mastered the MFK mouth howls yet. I sound really bad.
Yeah.
But I've heard guys say it don't matter what you sound like. You're something different.
Yep.
So I have not called one in, and I really want to. I think that'd be a pretty cool accomplishment to mouth howl one in.
Yeah.
When we have a landowner that doesn't coyote hunt, that let off a crazy howl.
Yeah.
We were hunting.
Yeah, with no diaphragm, nothing.
No, nothing. We were hunting. We ran the set. He texted him to let him know why we were leaving.
Yep.
And he's like, "Hey man, they're over here. They're over here howling. Come over to the house."
What, 500 yards from
Yeah,
where
it's
we
probably
were?
fine. And I never heard them. I don't know if they were doing it while we were loading. Go over there, and this landowner just like bends down and comes up with just a lone howl like I ain't never heard before.
It was beautiful.
It was. And he does a cow hunt. And them dogs lit off. And I said, "We'll be right back."
Yeah.
And we ended up, that's what we called the double in, and we dumped one real close. But
Yeah.
it's hard to say. We don't run any different calls, so just try different things, guys.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Maybe move closer into their area, add pressure to them, physical pressure, force them to come out.
Yeah. Different times of the year, different tactics.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an educated coyote that, it was male, female. Female came in. We dumped the female.
No, you dumped the female because you shot him too.
Yeah.
You actually hear me on the video. I didn't know we were shooting.
Yeah. So I shot.
That was
the
a good
female.
shot. That was like 200 some yards, I think.
Yep. Yeah, it's 220. Shot the female. Went out there as we're going to recover. The male starts barking in the wood line. We fucked around with him for 30, 45 minutes.
Oh, easy. We ran out. I grabbed a call, and I was literally walking the wood line and playing like challenge bars, trying to get him to come out to us. And you were sitting in the field behind me. I was like, if he comes out, dump him.
Yeah.
And I was walking up and down the wood line, out in the field, trying to sound like another coyote. Yeah. And he did 30, 45 minutes of just pure barking.
And he never showed up. We went back a month later or so. We let off with a howl, got a response. The male started booger barking again at us, but this female ended up coming into the house, circling downwind. We dropped her, and then went back a third time. We got out of the truck, walking, got back. The call was barely even playing a lone howl, and it was a different set of howls, Lil B or Boo Roo or whatever one I was using, and he was 300 yards off, just booger barking us. And he every time now we go out there.
Now he knows the sound of the coyote caddy.
Yep.
The last time I went with you, we pulled up, and literally when I shut the truck off, we stepped out. He started booger barking us.
Yeah. So he knows the sound of the caddy. He knows the sound.
He's educated.
Yeah, he knows that MFK library like I do.
That's right.
And he's got one female with him now, possibly two. And every time I go out, it doesn't matter what call I use, what sound I use, setting up in multiple different locations.
And we talked about that guy, and I said, you're going to kill him over bait.
Yeah.
He's not coming to a call. You're just going to set him up, get him on a bait pile, figure him out, and just go out there and just get rid of him because he's educating the rest of them for you.
I mean, I've hunted a bait pile out there, and he never showed up. I've moved locations. Yeah. He didn't show up. Yeah, he's smart. I actually had him one time jump out into the field from this old cut down where they were bedding at. He jumped out of the field and he sat there, was looking at the direction.
He said, "I know that's you, Chance."
Yeah, he was like, I'm just gonna fuck with you and show you that I'm right here.
That's right.
I'm still here. He was about 400 yards, and that's a little bit farther than I want to shoot. It's completely safe to shoot, and I could shoot a mile in that area. but just wasn't comfortable shooting 400 yards and ruining another shot at that coyote. So I don't know we backed out, waited 4 months, 5 months for breeding season. I was like, I'll catch him in breeding season.
Yep.
We done killed 2 of his bitches. He'll come back looking for a third.
That's right.
And we'll dump him. Yeah, that didn't work.
No.
Denning season. Oh, he hooked up. I have him on camera with another female. I was like, yep, I'm gonna get him during deer season. Nope, nothing.
He's smart.
He's smart. He's a worthy adversary, but there's a place on my wall for him when I do get him. Another question we got was favorite time to hunt. That's any time I have available.
That's right. If the weather's right, let's roll.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, daytime, nighttime.
Except for right now when it's 80. Right now we are in a heat wave, I think.
God, it was 97.
Yeah, but it feels like what, 110 or something?
Yeah, real temp was 97 yesterday. Feels like 110.
Yeah.
And with 70, 80% humidity.
85 degrees at night.
Yeah, it's miserable. We got mosquitoes the size of pterodactyls.
And all the fields are grown up. So
especially with corn, and corn just holds flies and mosquitoes.
Yeah, everything.
But we like to hunt anytime, daytime, nighttime. We don't do too much daytime hunting. It's mainly if we're out turkey hunting.
Yeah, anybody sees them during turkey season, bust their ass.
But, we've done it. We've gone out during wintertime. We're going out 5:30 in the afternoon, hunt until 10 o'clock at night. We've gone out at 10 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, hunting to sunrise. Just anytime we can get out, and hopefully that they're moving.
And that's a fair statement of, and that also depends on your dogs. I mean, you've done it where you get up 2 o'clock in the morning and you'll hunt that last 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you about the tournament, that first 4 hours of the night, that's a lot of guys were killing. And then, that early morning, guys were killing. And I was getting guys 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning still killing dogs.
Yeah.
But the majority of my stuff was those, roughly 4 hours after dark, before dark.
Yeah.
So if you got dogs that are, maybe not, you're calling this and nothing, like you do, get up at 2 and go to daylight, see if you can catch them slipping.
Yeah, you got to change something. You can't just keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. So that's one thing. Part of our tournament planning and hunting is we have different routes that we'll run, and if we beat up our land pretty good year round. So for one tournament, we were looking at, hey, we're going to start on the north end, and we're going to go at this time at say 8 o'clock, and we're going to work north-south, and then the next night we're going to start south at 8 o'clock and work our way north, just to see if we're going to catch those different dogs moving. It did work for me and Becky in your tournament. I went back, I knew there was dogs in this field. I've seen them there. The farmers told me you've seen them there at this specific time. Went there at that specific time. Just knew I was going to be the first team with kills in Timmy's tournament. Nothing. But the field produces almost every single time we go. So the next night, Becky and I went back, and it was our last stand of the night. And we ended up killing our double there.
I don't know if I covered that story with the 7 coyotes in the other podcast. But guys, scouting before one tournament a year, 2 years ago, I would come home from work, grab a thermal, and just start riding fields. And literally, this one field, I saw a double. Went back the next night, saw a triple. For like a week straight, there was dogs. 2 weeks straight, there was dogs in this field around 9:30. And I told the guys, I said, we're gonna go do a couple sets because it's dark at 5:30 at that time. I said, but 9:15, I want to be on this field. And sure as shit, we walk in, don't see it's big field, nothing. Go get our setup, full moon, no cover. We're in the middle of the field, and guy I'm hunting with, Cole, says, there's coyotes out there. 7 coyotes in this field. But if I wouldn't did that little bit of scouting, I might have hit that field at 11, or 10. Coyotes would have been gone already. They wouldn't have been assembled. For whatever reason, those 7 were assembled, probably getting ready to disperse and go about their business. But, that little bit of planning and just getting out there. Yeah. Put us on. We killed a double. Definitely probably should have killed more, but,
All right, guys. Moving into the next question was coyote vocals or prey distress. Which sounds do we like to run? It really depends on the time of the year, but me personally, I'm running coyote vocals 90-95% of the time. If find that trigger, get them to respond, get them to come in. If not, I'll throw in a prey distress. It just depends on what it is. Usually rabbit or bird, or a mouse, a little squeaker or coaxer.
When we started hunting a year and a half ago, you ran vocals, and I'm just like, what the hell? I never ran vocals because, understanding this after listening to Tory Cook, guys, the Godfather. I was always scared I'm going to run coyotes off because I'm going to play that howl and it's going to scare that young coyote. And I'm just regurgitating what Tory says. This ain't our thing. That coyote don't know that's the big bad coyote. They just know it's a different coyote. And they're going to challenge them because they're in your area. And I never ran vocals. I always, my first couple were on prey distress. Hey, that's what's working for me. And again, guys, you hear me say I read about everything. I watch everything I can about coyotes. It's just my thing. One guy said, go with a howl. Let the coyotes know you're in their, you're in their house, and then go into some prey distress. Now you're in the refrigerator, and then go to pups, screams or something, because now you're whooping up on their family. There's 100 different ways to call coyotes, and like I said, Chance was running vocals, and I'm like, what the hell? But we were killing coyotes. I'm like, it's working. And I actually run more vocals now when I'm not hunting with Chance. And he lets me DJ a little bit. I'm throwing a lot of vocals out. And again, time of year, we'll go back to the one coyote. You did play some vocals. We had a dog. It just wasn't his trigger.
No.
But as soon as you hit Mrs. McCottontail, dog turned on. Ran straight to us.
Going to run over the call.
So don't be like me and think you're going to run coyotes off. And after listening to Tory on that one podcast, I was just like, that makes sense. And he'll go, if you listen to that podcast where he talks about, I got a 7-pound Yorkie, ain't scared of shit. All right, until he gets his ass whooped, and he did by my daughter's dog. It was a Labradoodle. He jumped all up on that dog, but he put him in his place. Now they have that respect, and the same thing with coyotes. And that's what Tory says. Until they get that pecking order, they're going to fight.
Now
he might get his ass kicked when he gets there, and he hears that other coyote the second time. He's going to be a little more respectful. And, so all that made a lot. And again, guys, that ain't my words. Those are Tory Cook's words. And it makes sense. You watch your house dogs, how they act around strange dogs. Till they get their ass whooped, they're gonna challenge them because it's a pecking order.
So it's real interesting to talk about the pecking order with that black coyote and maybe this educated coyote that we were just talking about. When I got access to that hog farm next to me, I set up that trail cam. I put out some bait just to see what was coming on that property, and I got pictures of the black coyote. It comes up, it's eating some of the bait, it marks the territory and walks off. About 2 hours later, this other coyote comes in, and you can tell he's real skittish. He's walking in, he's looking around, he's smelling stuff. There was some noise, something like a tree limb broke or fell or it snapped, and he bolted out of the picture, like jumped and bolted out like he got scared.
He's a transient.
He's
in somebody else's house he ain't supposed to be at.
And he's coming in, and he's very, very skittish. He takes a couple of bites of the bait and then runs off, and then he comes back and he grabs, it was a deer leg, he grabs a deer leg and takes off with it. But being able to see, he could smell that other coyote, the more dominant coyote. Maybe they had an interaction and the black coyote whooped his ass, but he's still hanging in the area. Maybe it was his son or from the previous litter or something like that. Never know, but it was very interesting to be able to see that on how this dog is acting. Because I've got other coyotes come in, they don't care. They walk in, they go through there, they take what they want, they mark their territory, and then they're like, nope, this is mine now.
That's right.
Come get it.
And again, same thing I hear when I was running trail camping and watching them. They're coming in, you could tell them, this pack, man, they come right down 200 yards from me, use the bathroom, scat it up, and just move about their business. And then same thing, I had a trail camera, goes off at Coyote Point, it's a black coyote. As soon as he comes up, I'm excited. And you see that coyote look over his shoulder and bolt. And literally 2 regular colored, coyotes are in full sprint behind him.
Oh man.
And about probably 6 months later, I I get information there's a black coyote probably about 4 miles from here. So I'm like, I wonder if they ran him off. I mean, he was a transient. Because I'm going to tell you, he looked over his shoulder and he was gone.
Yep.
And them other two were dead in his ass.
Yep.
So they ran him off, but I think he's a couple miles away. I still haven't been able to kill that one.
Yeah, I mean, black ones are trophies.
Yeah, man, I haven't got one yet.
You got the brindle coming.
Yeah, I got a brindle, but yeah, I mean, just try a trigger's a trigger. You just don't know. Different times of the year work great.
Yeah. To me, it's just really what I'm feeling that night. Most of the time, I start off with the howl. Like Timmy said, hey, here I am. I'm in your house. I'm in your area. Come find me.
And we're hoping to get that howl back. And we've done it several times from 600-800 yards away to 50 yards on top of us.
Yep.
At least they're in the area, and then it helps motivate you on that set when at least there's a coyote in the area that heard you.
Sometimes I will start off with prey distress. I'm going to start off, see what I can find. But also, I used to think, hey, if I'm hunting bobcat, or fox or something where we can call in.
You run a lot more prey distress with those.
Do more prey distress with it. But there's some videos out there at Night Crew Chris Robinson put out where bobcat and a coyote came into this to pup distress, and the bobcat ran the coyote off. I think that was a pretty cool video. You can check it out, Night Crew. On YouTube and Sportsman Channel.
Chris Robinson just has that voice. He's a great storyteller.
Oh yeah, he does great with his storytelling and how he is moving the storytelling of his hunts. And goes through, and his photographs and his videography is on point. He's really got his own style. And I really like it. Which actually takes us into our next question we had. It was, how do we do our nighttime photos? 80%, 90% of the time it's with our iPhone. They have that nighttime photo, and it takes like a 3-second exposure. So you just gotta be really still. So if you have a tripod, that's great. I mean, a lot of times we'll be on stand 20-30 minutes after the stand doing photo ops, trying to get the right picture.
At least by the end of the night.
At the end of the night, it could be long, especially if we had a successful night.
I mean, we're proud of it. We enjoy it. We enjoy, and just like everybody else, you
share our success.
Yeah, it's a success for us. That's what we're doing. We do it for our landowners because we send these pictures to our landowners that want to see them. And most of them do. So I want a good quality photo.
One of your photos won you that Rock River armed rifle.
We'll put that out there. No, guys, that's a good little contest. Rock River Arms puts it on in, I think, February every year. It's just a photo contest. Come up with something clever. And we were actually rushing that night because it started raining on us, and we threw a little funny thing and we don't do anything to disrespect the animal, guys. Don't let me say that. Don't do no crazy dumb photos that's going to make us look bad. That's going to make the space look bad, right?
The whole industry.
I'm not a fan of guys that shoot them in the head and post that. I don't like the eyeballs hanging out because people that don't like what we're doing, that's their ammo. Treat the animal with respect. Take your tripod shots that we do. The head's hanging over the rack, especially if they're beat up pretty bad. We'll just do the head shots. And then we've had dogs we can't take a picture of that dog. We want to share our success in the community and the space we're in, but my thing is, guys, be respectful and don't put no bad ones. I'm trying to make it look as pretty as possible.
Another thing you can do is if you have a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera on a tripod, put it in shutter mode. It's all about how much light can come in there, and you got to play with the settings. Widest aperture you have, like this lens of 1.4, so I put it on 1.4 and maybe 5 seconds depending on the ambient light, and try it that way. Another thing we do with our cell phone or our cameras, we got a flashlight and it's called painting. Open up the shutter, start the photo, and then take your flashlight and just run it over the areas that you want exposed, and then you can do it that way. There's a lot better YouTube videos out there that can help you or help explain to you how to take nighttime photos, astrophotography. It's something that I do enjoy, but composition is it. The photo has to tell the story, and there's a couple of guys that are doing just awesome photos at night with their with their setup and their kills, and doing it hanging on a fence post.
Yeah.
So you got to have some type of foreground and background, get that separation, that depth of field to really make it a good photo. And it just takes practice and looking, having that artful eye. Hell, a lot of times I see something, I was like, that's awesome, I'm copying that.
Yep.
This is what I want to do.
That's right.
Because someone had a great idea and I want to steal it because it was a badass photo.
That's right.
We can do that a lot later on. If you want to see some badass nighttime photos, Night Crew, Chris Robinson, his astrophotography, his time lapse with the Milky Way.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've tried that with the GoPro. I think we both have.
Whenever we did it with the GoPro, it just was a bad night.
Yeah.
It was real cloudy, and then we're more focused on hunting than we are photos or videos at that time. Rolling into our next question is calling a hung up coyote. We've kind of touched on this before. It goes back to finding that trigger that is going to get them to break. They could be, we had that one that we talked about. He was 400, 500 yards off. I played a howl, he didn't care. I played group howl, he didn't care. Fight sound, didn't care. Pup distress, didn't care. And just played Mrs. McCocktail, prey distress, and he came in on a line, and got into within about 80 yards before we opened up on him. So you got to find those triggers that's going to make them respond the way you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And the long range shooting now, now that long range is subjective.
Yep.
To me, 200 yards is with my thermals. That's long range.
Yeah. Well,
and now we'll push it. We've pushed it. I think I hit 298 one time. But we definitely want 100 yards. And most of the time, because we want that one shot drop. We don't want the.
And that's a long drag.
It's a long drag. But your daytime guys are definitely taking some.
Oh yeah, some guys out west. I'm hearing 600, 700 yards.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's their thing. And of course, your day hunt with a day scope where you can dial and stuff. I mean, with our thermals.
And these guys practice that stuff. I'm not knocking them.
No, man. I would love to kill one at 600 just to say I did it.
Yeah.
That would be a feat. That's a poke.
Yeah, I'd be walking around pounding my chest, bragging about it.
But I think long range, for us, anything past 200. I mean, we're comfortable with 200. We practice 300. For tournaments. I mean, when we're fun hunting, I don't want anything outside 200.
No. Ideally, the closer the better.
Oh, absolutely.
We go that. So
and we practice up to. We shoot right here at 50 yards just to make sure, because if the call is usually 40, 50 yards, and we've had them multiple times right on top of the call.
Yep.
So you got to be prepared for those short shots too.
Yeah, and that's why knowing your gear, knowing your dope, your zero, your holds, is all a factor, because I've had it or misjudged the distance, shot over, shot short, So
well, the double where I yelled get them. That story's been told a lot. I shot that dog high, but that dog was 40 yards. I should have lowered down because he was so close. I should have put it down a little lower. But knowing your 50 to 200 or whatever your max point blank range is.
Yep. Another thing you do is move closer. I think coyotes have great vision at night, but I think it's not as great as we may give them credit for. Because we get away with some crazy stuff. Picking up a tripod, moving, from one side to another. That one night we had that one coyote. He was probably by the cemetery off of just down the road here, where we got up. Me, you, and Rick and Becky. We all loaded. And we moved 300 yards to close in on him, and finally, and we just watched him. Where is he going? He wasn't paying attention to us. We moved. All right, hey, we moved 15, 20 yards. We stopped, get our scanners out. Hey, he's not paying attention to us. Move forward. And we just kind of just movement to contact, leap bound, there until we got set up to an area. We've gotten in the truck and moved and driven around to another side.
And we pulled into fields, and literally that one Chance was messing with a gun. You were messing with Becky's gun. Something about some round stuck in it, and you're in there with the white light on, and you're making noise. And Becky's like, "There's two dogs right in the field behind us." And I look, and they was probably what 300-400 yards.
Yep.
Paid us no mind. Now they just might have associated with a landowner and just they're used to some movement out there.
Yeah.
But then again, we walked in and watched the dog in the field and just take off running. So
Yep. Well, heck,
it's how lucky can you be?
Yeah, we've had them come in and then just lay down and watch us.
Yeah.
You know, just,
Coming into Mrs. McCocktail.
Yep.
That's the one we talk about.
Yeah.
And you hear on the video channel, like, you want to do him? I'm like, yep.
Yep.
we both hit him and he did a backflip. So
Yeah. So, you know, long range shooting, being able to move closer if you can, find that trigger that goes there, and that all goes back to knowing your gear.
yeah.
Practicing with your gear, knowing your capabilities.
I think that's the big thing.
yeah.
Knowing your capabilities. Don't shoot at a dog to shoot at a dog.
Yeah.
You can come back because you shoot at him. You're gonna educate him to some degree.
Yeah.
Let him go. I mean, if he's 400, won't come in. Let him go back into the woods. Grab your gear. Come back. You can come back the next night.
Yep.
And maybe he'll be at 100.
Yep.
But you go take it. I know I hear guys all the time. Oh, it was 450. Why? Just put a thermal.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you sure it was a deer?
Yeah.
Guy out in
Yeah,
a deer
yeah.
at 450?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
don't,
'cause
if you
I've
don't, and I've had guys, hey, you want to shoot? No. You know, I've had it, multiple, we take a lot of people, but I've had guys who are like, oh man, that's 100, no, that's 300 yards, Bo. And they're like, you want to try them? No, I don't.
No.
Let them go. They're paying us no mind. They haven't reacted to the call. Just let them go about their
Yeah.
business. And we've gone back to that same property. Rick actually dumped that female on Den Vicious, but that female was probably in that double that I saw, a month or so before. But if I'd have shot at her, she may not have come in that next month to Den Vicious, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have to take the shot, don't. I mean,
Yeah.
we all want to pull the trigger. We all
Oh, yeah.
want to dump that
That's
dog,
fine.
but hell, it's nice. I'm just glad to see a dog. I just see, when I want to hear them, I want to see them, and of course you want to pull the trigger.
Yeah. But, just practice with your gear.
That's right. Know your capabilities. I
Yeah.
think that's the best
Biggest
tip
thing.
out of that.
Yeah. Last question we got is, what do you look for when you're scouting for land to hunt? And for me, it's water and cover. That's what they're going to need. They need a place to rest, and they need a place that they're going to feel safe in and have a water source for it. So when I'm e-scouting or driving around, I'm looking for water, access, and cover. And then once I get on Onyx or Google Maps and looking around, that's when I'm like, okay, hey, here's what's around there. Would it be safe to hunt there? Where they could potential denning sites are at, and then where are they going to be travel corridors for finding food? Because they're going to move around for it. I know, Timmy, we walk into a new place, we're looking for scat, tracks, den sites. So when your guys are out there putting in your tree stands and changing your memory cards and stuff, walk around a little bit, familiarize yourself with the land, and see if you're finding any deer stands or scat or fresh kills, there, and look for it. And then you can also speak to landowners and neighbors. Hey, where are you seeing them at? Where are you hearing them at?
Yep.
Do it that way, because I've done it. And hey, man, I'm hearing them over here all the time.
Yep.
So and so owns that property. I'll call him for you, and he'll let you hunt it.
I think when I look for scat, and just again, this is my experience. It's always at intersections, curves. Like again, I keep going back to right here. There's a 90-degree turn out here at 100 yards, and that's where they all. And when I was watching them, or that's where I find scat. If you go up to Coyote Point, it's a T intersection with the field straight ahead, and the T's go right and left. They always poop right there on camera, because I ran them cameras on these this property. I was always getting them peeing or pooping, and it's all to me. It's always intersection. So when I'm on a piece of property, when I come to an intersection, I'm looking. I'm driving out. I'm looking for tracks on the road, but at those any intersection, and I don't know. Tori Cook could explain that to us someday. But why do they do it? I don't know.
I've seen it on base, hunting some of those training areas. Come up to a four-way and found scat and tracks right there. On the hog farm, there's a retention pond up there. The northwest corner of that, every single time There's scat there. On the second retention pond in the very back, on the northeast corner, there's always scat there.
Well, I mean, I understand that, and that they're marking their territory, guys. I'm not saying I don't know why they poop that, but why do they do it at intersections? I know they mark their territory all the way around. That's their, that's their home, and that's how they're going to mark it. But I just don't know why it's at an intersection. Why don't they poop on the straightaway? They may, I don't know, but
maybe it's probably ease of access. Path of least resistance, high traffic area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it's on corners. Maybe Tori can explain that to us. Somebody.
Yeah, if you know, let us
know. Let me know.
What is your theory on that?
Yep, I don't disagree. Tell me why it's at an intersection or a T.
Yep.
Or an elbow.
Yeah.
But
That wraps it up. We've got no more questions that we've answered. A lot of them we got questions were like what gun you're running, what suppressor you're running, and we'll tell them. But a lot of times, hey, if you want an in-depth review or in-depth information, please check out the videos that we posted. That's why we're doing it, to help get that information out there. We don't mind answering the questions, but we do the videos so we can get more information out there, more in-depth information, instead of talking about the same thing over and over again. Because everyone, what caliber you're running, what gun you're running, what call you're running, what thermal, and we can do that.
And we both done gear reviews. And I guys, I've had a guy here in North Carolina reach out to me and had a question about the leveling head and wasn't sure if it was going to fit his tripod, so I broke one down. I said, I gave him in depth on the leveling head. On the side, I don't mind, dude. There ain't no secrets for me.
Yeah. No, we're not trying to, not answer your questions, but if you got any questions or need additional information, ask. We'll be more than happy to do it. Actually, a buddy messaged me, hey, what thermal you running? What you don't like about what you don't like about it. I just give them the information going on about it. Another guy was looking at the Rattler TS35384. That's the one I'm using as a scanner. So I'm going to go out, take some video with it when it's decent weather. I mean, it's so fucking humid right now. Everything looks like shit. But I need to get some pictures, video, so I can send to him so he can see it, because it is hard. There's not a lot of in-person thermal stores that you can go to and get hands-on. Very few, and the ones you can go to, hey, everything looks great at 70 degrees and 20% humidity inside at 10 yards. But what does it look like when it's 80 degrees outside, 90% humidity, and fog rolling in?
And I tell everybody, if you can look through a thermal this time of the year and it looks good, it's gonna be fantastic come the cold weather. Because to me, and yours too, thermals produce are. What's the word I want to use? Not produce. They perform much better.
Oh yeah.
Without the humidity in the air. And I tell everybody, if you can get your hands on one, it looks good right now, you're gonna love it in the wintertime.
Yep. Yeah.
Because to me, the colder it is, the better my thermals pick up and get more definition.
Yeah. So again, guys, if you have any questions, please reach out and let us know. Ask us. We appreciate all the warm responses and the good responses that we've gotten from starting this podcast. We are small, we are growing. It's slow and steady, but that's what we like to see. Is continued progress.
And again, guys, we're just like you. We're just talking about it openly. Success, failures, what we're doing. We're no big name guys. We're just coyote hunters that love coyote hunting, and we're going through withdrawals right now because all our fields are grown up and are got crops in them. And, but I love answering questions. We both love teaching people. We like taking people out and exposing them to our arena, our space, our sport. And again, man, I just like killing coyotes too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun. We are going through withdrawals. Becky has beaten me up every night. Hey, we won't go out. We're going to go out. And I was like, hey, every coyote that we don't kill now is more coyotes potentially.
Well, we in August right now. We got about another month or two of this. I think September, early October, we'll start getting them cooler nights, hopefully this year. I was reading about what is the El Nino on the West Coast creates a little wetter, colder winter for us. So I think they got that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Hopefully it starts here soon.
But we'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to get back out there. We are going to try something a little different this year. We're going to bring the camera out in the field and potentially do a pre-stand or post-stand breakdown of, hey guys, this is where we're at, this is what we're looking for, and get some more in-scope videos for y'all, and try, hey, this is what we're doing, and walk you through it, so you can see what we're doing on stand, and give you another perspective, another video to watch, where you can see what we are doing and how we're doing it, and the success.
What we talk about, you'll see it in action, basically. Because some of the stuff we talk about, well, we might move. I know you can only go so far right. I'm going to swing out to the right. I don't know if people understand that by listening to us, so hopefully we can show that to you. Guys, we're going to play a little part of the song here at the end. Tell me what please tell me what you think about it. We're going to have Matt on here here shortly, hopefully, and give us a whole version. Looking forward to it. Just a little parody I wrote, messing around. And hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for your time. Please help us grow this channel. So please like, comment, share, a review, and you can find us Preying on Predators podcast, Apple now, Spotify, as well as YouTube. Timmy, your Drop Zone Hunting on YouTube.
Yep.
And then your Instagram is dropzonehunting_ENC.
That's correct.
Chance, Preying on Predators, pretty much on all platforms.
And come join us, man. We post a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Again, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks. Have a good night.
Call me a coward on full moon nights. Call me a coward with those pub screen fights. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. Call me a coward on Distress KG. Call me a coward with X360. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. I said, hey, Fox Pro, call me.